The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of Bermuda's Feel Good Early Morning Show. Good day, Bermuda, supported by Pete's House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert, and we are ready to bring you some feel good vibes this morning. Our feel good topic of the day is Bermudian success story, Sue Khan of NakedZero Wellness, and our feel good vibe of the day is none other than Joke Time with Jackie. So if you want a laugh to get your morning started, make sure you stick around for our feel good vibe of the day. Before all of that, we want to get this episode started with our feel good warm-up of the day. Now, yesterday, Ja Rule and Fat Joe did a versus at the Hulu Theater in the Madison Square Garden. And so our first feel good warm-up question for you today is, did you get a chance to catch last night's versus and what did you think of it? Jackie, before you and I answer that question, I see Sean Smith is here with us. Good morning to you, Sean Smith. So, Jackie, it's funny because we were talking on WhatsApp before the event, but did you happen to stay up and watch the event? Because we talked about your bedtime. And I think your bedtime was before the versus was supposed to start. So did you manage to stay up and catch last night's versus?
Nope. That last message was my actual, well, it wasn't my last message because I woke up at about 12:30 because I was thirsty. And that's when I did check my phone. I just wrote a little LOL to somebody. I went back to sleep. I couldn't hang. Like, I'm looking at people's statuses today. I'm like, oh, last night was a whole vibe. I would have loved it. So I think I'm going to have like a reviewing party.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch the replay.
Because I couldn't hang. By 9 o'clock, I was out. Like, when I was talking to you guys, my house was blacked out. Like, people would think that I was absolutely asleep. Or if anybody lived there.
Oh, yeah, they would have thought, like, is anyone in there? Like,
is there a house over there?
Yeah. Good morning to you, Taja. As you're joining us, let us know if you caught last night's versus. I can say that I too did not catch the versus. I was actually really hyped for it because I'm a Fat Joe and Ja Rule fan. I was really excited to see, some Ja Rule performance. I've never really seen him or Fat Joe other than the award shows, BET Awards and MTV Awards, and all that good jazz. But I feel like versus is a different kind of performance. And so I was definitely hyped up for it. It's New York, right? They're both from New York, both around the same era of music. And I'm actually pretty sad because I saw the post that Versus put up, like, of the two of them performing, I guess, a song together. And I was just like, dang it. I was excited to see that. It looks like Usher missed it as well. So how the millennials who that music is of their time, how we miss it?
I mean, I wouldn't have been able to function today because they don't start on time. They must think the Bermudian you made.
Also that. It's colored people time, right? It's CPT. It's colored people or Caribbean people time. You pick your seat. You pick your seat.
Because I'm looking at people's statuses. I'm like, oh, this started. And I looked. I'm like, 11:30?
Wait, it started at 11:30? See, I wouldn't have been able to make
Well, because remember, they have the DJs. They have the DJ off. And then they prep everybody. Everybody takes their time, comments. If it's supposed to start at 10 and it starts at 10:30, 11, that's too late for me. You already missed me. I guess you're at 9. My time to start at 9. It needs to start like 6.
So the DJs get their time because I feel like if they start an hour before, the DJs can do a little warm. They can get everybody excited. And then at 9 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Atlantic time, we're ready to go. I'm like excited. I'm like, yo, what can happen? It's gonna happen. I feel like there was like 1 or 2 that actually started on time, and that was it.
But they're old with us. Like they have to understand that
You
the
would
generation
think, right?
that watches them is just as old as them, and just as much as they want to be in the bed versus, performing, we want to be in our bed too, sleeping, because we have either kids to raise or you have to get up early. So
And do a morning shows.
Work with us.
Sort it out. So we have another comment from Asha. She says, I always fall asleep before it gets started. LOL. And it's always 3 hours long. That's the thing. Like, it ends at like midnight or 1 o'clock. I'm like, I ain't got time for this. I ain't 20. I ain't in my 20s anymore. I don't have the energy to hang out and watch my phone, or watch it on my TV screen. So yes, absolutely agree. Now we actually want to switch gears because we do have a conversation coming up with Sue. We're going to be talking about health and wellness. And so we asked our Instagram audience this question too, but we want to get an idea from our current audience watching us live. Do you consider yourself to be a minimalist or a maximist? And of the people that responded to our Instagram poll, 69% consider themselves a minimalist and 31% consider themselves a maximist. So, Jack, which one do you label yourself as?
I want to be a minimalist.
Like, I really want to me. It was really
I want to be a minimalist so badly, but I'm a maximist.
No flex. I'm right there with you. Like, I really be, and this is why I'm glad we have Sue on today, because I be looking at Sue and the stuff she posts, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I just want to be Sue. Like, I just want to figure out how to live this minimalist life, because I understand it conceptually, but physically, it's just not working out. Like, the two are not matching.
I want to be just as organized. Like, she'll show her kitchen, she'll show her fridge, she'll go to the grocery store, she'll show all the stuff that she has, and then she'll show her fridge, and I'm just like,
how sweet?
Help me. And I live alone. Like, it's just me.
Sue has 4 people in her household, and here we are with 1 and 2 people, and we can't sort it out. We just need to get it together. It looks like Sean Smith says he's in the middle, so he is straddling the fence. I know I'm a maximist. Like, I ain't in front. I'm gonna be listening intently to Sue today to figure out how I could get my life together. And we have another comment here from Jamal Hartman. He says, "Morning. Unfortunately, I've been on vacation, so I've missed Good Day Bermuda all week. But since we're talking music, did I get a birthday song from Sister Jackster? You should catch yesterday. Was it Monday's episode? Monday. So go watch the replay, because there is a whole segment for yourself and feel. You're welcome. That's that on that. That's what we're gonna say on that. But coming back to the minimalist maximus topic, like, when you purchase things, do you like think that you already have this thing, or do you do anything beforehand to like decide, like, do you even need it? Because I feel like sometimes when you're in the Maximus label, you kind of just grab whatever you want to grab just to grab it, and you don't even know that you already have it. And how are you with getting rid of things? Because I feel like that also is something that we probably are struggling with.
I always need it because
she always needs it. She don't always need it.
I don't really buy a lot of stuff. Like, I don't. I just have a lot of stuff that I've kept over the years because it's still in good condition. A lot of my stuff is handmade. Not really handmade. Like, my mom will make a lot of my stuff, so I don't want to throw that away. And then, I don't know. I repurpose some things. But I also realized, like, I prefer to wear all black. So sometimes I could get away with wearing it multiple times. I need everything I have.
Well, that's good that you said, like, the stuff that you guys quality. So it's not like you're, like, getting stuff that you only use like once and then it's just sitting there in some part of your household.
No, I don't spend frivolously when it comes to clothing. I do that when it comes to food.
That's okay, Jack.
Guys, I say this all the time. All my money goes on food.
I mean, you got to have some sustenance, right? You got to have some sustenance. So I totally get it. So let's take a quick commercial break, and then we will get ready to bring today's guest into the studio, which is Sue Khan. So make sure you do not go anywhere. Jack and I will be right back.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. And if you are just joining us, we are about to get ready for our feel-good topic of the day, which is none other than a Bermudian success story, Sue Khan of NakedZero Wellness. Before we bring Sue into the studio, make sure you drop a wellness-related emoji in the comments. You know, the water emoji, the plant emoji, maybe it's the yoga emoji. Do that as we welcome Sue to Good Day Bermuda. Good morning, Sue.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Good morning.
We are wow. So, Sue, for those that don't know, can you let them know how NakedZero Wellness got started? Give us the backstory of NakedZero.
Yeah, sure. So NakedZero started, I would say, probably about 3 years ago now. I was working in reinsurance and just feeling a little bit overwhelmed with both work, family, all those things. And I decided, if I want to live my life intentionally, I have to start recreating my life from scratch pretty much. So I went through this whole phase of getting rid of everything, trying to find out who I am, what I really enjoy, what's important to me. And in going through that, I realized I didn't really have like a wellness toolkit is what I call it. So I didn't meditate, I didn't journal, didn't do yoga. I didn't do any of those things. I worked, I did mom stuff, I was a wife, and I was traveling a bit. So I just felt like I didn't have anything to lean on when I was feeling so stressed and overwhelmed. So I slowly started to get into mindset stuff, started reading books about mindset, started to get into movement and yoga and working out and things like that. And then I also realized when I was going through this that as I was getting rid of stuff, I was finding myself. The more I found myself, the more I wanted to get rid of. And then when it was time to purchase more things, I wanted to make sure that it was aligned with my new intentions. And I just couldn't find that on the island. So NakedZero became both a blog sharing like my lifestyle and how I went through this kind of like a quarter life crisis. And I was just sharing like step by step, like how I was building a morning routine, getting into meditation, journaling, all that stuff, and how I was rebuilding myself. Then I started talking about minimalism, and it seemed like so many people were interested in that topic. So I spent a lot of time learning about it. And then sharing that. And then the second part of it was the store, because I wanted somewhere where you could go. And if you were trying to like build your wellness toolkit or to be mindful about all of the things that you're buying and consuming and making sure that it's, gentle on the earth and all those things, gentle on your body, that you can walk into a store and know that everything could be a feel-good purchase. Everything was plastic free, it was non-toxic, packaging could be recycled, all of those things, and it was all in one place. So NakedZero became both this wellness blog and then also the physical store, which unfortunately due to COVID, we decided to move online, but that's actually been better for the business, to be honest.
That was actually my next question, because I remember you starting as an online store, then you went to a physical store, and I was actually going to ask what prompted you to go back to the online store, because obviously it's more eco-friendly, I guess. I feel like it's more aligned with the whole minimalist thing, because then it's less.
Yeah. So like I first, we were actually a pop-up. So we popped up in Orange Bay and we used to pop up in different places. And then I couldn't like feed everybody that wanted the product. So we opened our own little spot. But then when COVID happened, the rules were such that because we were so small, we could only do curbside pickup anyway. So I was like, what's the point in having a physical location if I could only do curbside because I can't have people in the store? So that's when we moved back online. And honestly, again, like you said, it kind of aligned more with like the streamlining and minimalist lifestyle that I was already living, because, now I have everything at home. I don't have to pay rent at a store, and it just made me be able to transfer those savings onto my customers. So it just actually became even better for the business. Now people can shop online, they're working from home, they get the products next day, or sometimes same day. So it actually worked out a lot better. In the midst of it, I didn't think it was going to be better, but it worked out in the end, definitely.
So are you doing delivery or pickup? Like, cause I know where you live, and I'm out of stage. Like, I'm literally like, I have scraps of stage. I'm like, which one's gonna burn? I need to get some stage. Okay.
Yep. So everything is delivered. So most of the stuff delivered next day, if not a couple days later. But yes, everything gets delivered. We don't do any pickups.
Fantastic.
Perfect, because that was actually going to be my question. I was like, I do need to order some stuff. I too know where she lives. I also know where her neighbors live. So I'm like, I mean, if you just need to drop it to your neighbors, I can go over there and get it. But Sue, how does one start to declutter their living space? Because you talked about how you transitioned. It was kind of more of a mental shift first, and then it was a physical shift. So how can someone who is thinking like Jacky and I, we're Maximus, or we think we're Maximus, and how do we begin like decluttering our space?
Well, first, I was listening to Jacky talk, and I think that so many people have the idea of minimalism and Maximus wrong. So for me, minimalism isn't about owning a certain number of things, living in a certain square footage. It's about living intentionally, and it's about, having what you need and using what you have. So if you're somebody that's constantly shopping and has a room full of clothes that you never wear, then that's not living intentionally. But if you use all of the things that you have, because it's not about subscribing to a certain number of things. Minimalism is meant to be liberating, not constricting. So I always tell people, I challenge them, and they say like, I'm not a minimalist. I could never be a minimalist. I'm like, well, you probably live like one, but you probably wear the same things over and over and over if we talk about clothes, but you just have a room full of other stuff. Now, if you could depart with the stuff that you don't use and you keep using the things that you already consistently wear, then you're adopting part of that lifestyle right there, Mm-hmm. But I would say it definitely starts with the mindset. Like, you have to see yourself as somebody who's living with intention first. Otherwise, you're constantly going back and forth between like, I want to be a minimalist, but I like a lot of stuff, right? So it starts with mindset, and it starts with like first seeing yourself as like, living intentionally is important to me, and I'm going to, adjust my lifestyle to support that intention. And then for me, I went straight to clothing, because living the way that I was working a lot of hours, working a lot, traveling for work a lot. And I just started to collect stuff to try and make me feel good about working all the time. And so I went straight and decluttered my clothing first, because I was one of those people who really just wore the same things. Because I liked the way that they fit on me or the way that it looked on me. But I had a closet full of stuff that I just never really touched. And I would be like, oh, I might need that for a Christmas party, or I might wear that to this. So I kept it, but I never really used it. So the first thing I did was declutter my wardrobe, and I literally put on everything. And if I loved the way it made me feel, if I felt confident in it, it fit me the right way, I kept it. If it didn't, and if I wasn't sure about it, I got rid of it. And I was really strict like that. Because I feel like this mindset of like, I might use it, I might need it, that's what like breaks you from being a minimalist, because you're constantly holding on to stuff for some future use. And 9 times out of 10, that never happens. And if it does, then you can go out and purchase intentionally for that need,
I'm loving this conversation. Terri doesn't realize she's muted, but
I realized
I'm joking.
Jack's on my back.
I'm seriously loving this conversation, because it's making me feel bad. I'm just like, oh, I need to do this, that, and the other. But obviously, I wear the same thing over and over again. So it's going to be making my life feel a lot better. Anyway, go ahead, Terri.
No problem. So, Sue, because you kind of touched on it, but like, what is the importance of having a decluttered space? Because you talked about intention, but like, why is it important for us to live with intention? Because we are so connected right now, and we have heard the word intention. It's kind of like a buzzword now, but can you elaborate a little bit more on like why that's important?
So I just personally feel you've got one life, and if you do it right, one is enough, right? I don't want to live with regrets. I don't want to wish that I did things differently and I didn't take matters into my own hands. So for me, living intentionally is living my life on my terms, my design. So when I decided to leave my corporate job, when I decided to start NakedZero, when I decided to launch a blog, launch a new business, all of those things were me creating my life on my terms. And for me, that's what living intentionally is about. It's doing things with intention, because you have set the intention for your life. How do you want to spend your life? What do you want to do? What do you want to create? Who do you want to surround yourself with? What do you want to be known for? Like all of those things guide my decisions every single day. And initially it took a lot of work to like really think about it. Like, okay, is going to this event really aligned with my true intention, or am I just doing it because I feel obligated? But now I've done it for so long that I know what feels good and what doesn't. And I try and be really conscious about that every single day. For me, I love to be at home with my family. My family is everything to me. I love my kids. I love spending time. Like half the reason I purchased the home was so that I could house all the memories between me, my family, my friends. I love to host things. I love to have my kids around, their friends around. And so for me, having a home that is decluttered and that is created with intention is very important. If you come to my house, there's not a lot of stuff in here, but it's not because and like minimalism means that you don't have to have a lot of stuff or decoration or anything like that. Like minimalism looks different for everybody. But for me, because I host so many people and because I have a house full of kids, I don't want to spend my life cleaning and tidying and dusting and all. Like, I don't want to do that. So if I minimize the stuff in my house is always tidying most of the time because it's just kids' toys that are out and then they know how to pack those away. Or, you know, I don't have a lot of like pictures and things like that on the wall because I don't want to waste my time dusting. Like that's not what I want to do on a Saturday. I want to be able to just tidy up quickly and move about my day. And that's again, going back to living intentionally. I don't want to spend time doing those things. Now, if you're somebody who wants to, and that brings you peace and that's what you enjoy doing, or you want to outsource it, then fine. But for me, I intentionally curated and created my space so that I didn't have to spend a lot of time maintaining it and so that it can house memories instead of things, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. You are killing it today, too. Because that was actually my next question. I was going to ask, like, how has this helped your everyday life and, you know, living with your family? Because obviously you have the girls and the oldest. That is how old now? She's
16.
That's
yeah.
I remember when she was like 2, so to know that is crazy. But like, how has that? Because of course, you know, a lot of our movements, the way we operate through life, starts between the ages of like 5 to 7. That's when it becomes like real permanent. It's probably changed since, but she was, you know, old enough and in her own routine when you decided to change to this minimalism lifestyle. Has she been able to transfer that into her life, or even the girls, period, their lives, you know, seamlessly, or was it some type of chaos, I guess? I don't know.
To be quite honest, I think it was a little bit of both, right? So like I used to be the mom where Christmas looked like the Christmas tree threw up. Like there was toys everywhere, like the stockings were exploding. If my kids, I remember clearly, like Zari was into Dora the Explorer. And literally anything with Dora the Explorer on it, we bought her for Christmas. It could be like a coloring book. It could be a magnet. It didn't matter. Anything that had it on it, she had it. Sneakers, bike, whatever. So I think it was not chaotic in that the kids missed that because we were like, I was very like, I talk to my kids like they're not babies. They understand, right? So they knew. I was like, look, like our lifestyle and what I think is more important is like memories over things. They know that's a theme in the household. So we travel instead of buying things, and we put boundaries around their things. So all of the girls, the small ones, they have bins in their closet. If it can fit in the bin, you can keep it. If it's exploding out of the bin, you got to donate something so that you can get something new. Every time we travel, they get like a little carry-on bag. If it can fit in the carry-on bag, you can bring it back home. If it can't, then you got to leave it or you need to not buy it. So I try and teach them in that way to be like stewards of their own stuff. But they're still children, right? Like children see things, they want things, but I try and have that conversation with them and say like, okay, but you already have this at home. Are you willing to part ways with this in order to get that? So they're learning, and I feel like they've actually adopted it really, really well. Also, they realize how easy it is to tidy up their room. Now, the little one, Reese, she's her person.
I love
and Reese is Reese. So it's not so easy for Reese. She loves to make a mess and doesn't like to clean it up. But I feel like the other two are really good at it. And like, I think that they too understand, like they come home and it's a very peaceful environment, you know, it's not chaos other than them running up and down. Like there's not stuff all over the place. And then they all have their own rooms. And as much as I try and like make sure that things are maintained a certain way, it's still their own space. So what they do in their space is up to them, but there are, you know, you got to keep it tidy. Because I know the benefits of having a decluttered space. But, you know, they're kids at the end of the day, you know? So I think in the beginning, it was a bit of a mix as they like transitioned and they realized like Christmas is a bit more intentional. We spend time with our friends. We do like a Christmas Eve dinner and we have like other kids over with their best friends and all of that. And so we moved to more memories over things. And then they tell us specifically, like, this is what I would really like for Christmas. And 9 times out of 10, they get it. And they're excited about it because it's exactly what they want, as opposed to we were filling them up with a whole bunch of stuff just because we thought that it was cute, you know?
Right. So I actually want to bring in some audience questions because we have this question from Sean Smith. He wants to know, what advice can you give to a couple when one will hold on to everything while the other throws everything away after 2 years? How do they find the balance?
That is such a good question because my husband and I go through this all the time. Like, I'm not even joking. Literally 2 weeks ago, he's looking for this backpack and I'm like, I threw that away. Like nobody's touched it in like 2 years. It's in the trash. He literally was so upset. He was like, that is such a good backpack. It's good quality. And I'm like, mate, like nobody's touched it. So I'm still trying to figure out the balance. But what I personally, I am very like, this is my space and this is my stuff. And this is where I house my stuff. If it is something that like creeps into shared space, that's where I like try and put my foot down because everybody needs to share that space. Everybody needs to enjoy that common space. If you can fit it in your own space, if you want to keep it in your closet because you want to hold on to it, then fine, you can do that. But once it starts coming into shared space, that's when it's like, okay, we have to really talk about this. So my advice is to figure out your, like put guidelines around your space, like maybe your living room, maybe your TV room, bedroom, maybe all of those things are shared spaces. And in those shared spaces, things have to be decluttered. But if it's something that the other person wants to keep and hold on to, then they can keep it in their own personal space. The other thing I do is I keep like a memory box. And in that memory box, sometimes like I'm all nostalgic about something and I want to keep it. It might be like a card that one of the girls made, or it could be like plane tickets from a really exciting trip or something like that. And I put it in that box. But then I go through that box every so often because sometimes it wears off and you're like, this was dumb. Why did I keep this? But in the moment, it's something that I really wanted to hold on to. But then I look back on it and I'm like, I have the memories in my heart. I have pictures on my phone. I don't necessarily need to keep this piece of paper to remind me of it. And then it's easier to get away from it. So I would say my 2 pieces of advice is to designate space that's shared space and allow them to keep what's important to them in their own personal space, or to implement something like a memory box where they can keep things and then you go through it every once in a while, which is also fun because you kind of bring up all those old memories, but then you realize that a lot of those things you don't actually need.
I love that advice. I'm taking that advice. I need that. That was a jam that I will come back and write that down later.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
I want to switch gears to your other favorite because you post it all the time. I remember you making up, having different lines of it. I was trying to, what is this? It actually looked, I know at one point you said like everybody thought it was marijuana, but it was actually the matcha. Yeah. So what are the benefits of that? Because you're a huge promoter of it. Obviously, you have.
Yes.
And you have our new reveal. I don't know if you can see.
Yes. Yeah. So I found matcha probably about 3-4 years ago when I was going through this whole transition. All of us are so busy. Like, let's just be honest. Like, our lifestyles are busy. I think it's a misconception that like life is supposed to not be busy. And I've kind of accepted that being a mom, entrepreneur, having my own consulting business, having the kids, my husband home, you're just busy, which is it's not bad, right? Like, I think it comes down to how you feel about being busy. That's good busy for me. I love running around with my kids. I love, so that's fine. But I also needed like sustained energy. And so I'm somebody that I cannot do coffee. Like it makes me jittery. It makes me anxious. I don't like the way that it feels. It's just like this frenetic energy that I don't really like. Now, not everybody's like that. Some people can handle it, and that's fine. So I went through this quest again when I was trying to rebuild my life with intention. What can I consume that will help with my energy levels? I found out that I was low on iron. So I found a really like quality iron supplement. But then I also found matcha. And matcha is basically whole ground green tea leaves. So when we drink green tea in like a tea, you're just steeping the tea in the water. But what matcha is, you're consuming the whole leaf. The best matcha is stone ground. So it's in a very fine powder. And it takes out all of the stalk so you don't have a bitter taste. And then you're left with consuming the whole leaf. And that gives you, it's like clean, sustained energy. You don't get that like spike nor that crash. You don't have to deal with the jitters. And you just got a boost of energy that's more sustained and clean, if that makes sense. So I went through this journey of like finding the best matcha. I love the way that it makes me feel. I love that it's very clean, very nutritious. And so I am launching my own matcha. I am partnering with a female tea farmer in Uji, Japan, who I've been talking to for, probably over a year now, trying different samples, growing at different elevations. Obviously for me, making sure that it's no pesticides, no fillers, no sugars, anything like that is super important. So it'll be launching in the fall, which I'm super excited about. And it's called Naked Matcha because it truly is naked. No fillers, no sugars, no pesticides, just clean, stone ground, powdered matcha.
I'll take 10. Everybody get that for Christmas. Period.
You get a matcha. You get a matcha. Everybody gets a matcha. I was literally sitting here.
It gets gifted back to me. I think everybody wins.
Everyone wins. I was literally sitting here because as Sue was talking about her caffeine experience, like that's me. And I kind of like it sometimes because I'm a Gemini, so I like some chaos in my life. But I've been thinking that I need to like pull back because I become unfocused towards like when it starts to like really like mess with me. Like I really get unfocused and I'm like sitting here trying to work and I get distracted really easily. So I've been thinking about trying matcha, but I haven't really gone down the rabbit hole yet. So today I'm going into the city and I will be getting some matcha instead of my iced mocha and try it out. So I'm definitely going to do that.
I can't do coffee. Like I have enough energy in me as it is. I remember one time me and my cousins that actually grew up in the house that Sue is here, which is we were doing like coffee. Well, my aunt used to do coffee, so we used to have our little coffee. And I remember being like, guys, I'm all right. I was like, my heart's beating too fast. I don't like this. I don't like it. I don't like it. I had to go for a run. I can't even do that. People do fat burners to get their energy. I can't do that. I had to later, like I do tingles. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm getting into cardiac arrest.
Oh my gosh.
That's me. I cannot do coffee. But like matcha can also be complimentary. Like if you're somebody who needs a coffee to start your day, like that's fine. But you can have matcha like midday as a pick-me-up as opposed to having another cup of coffee, right? So like you don't have to replace it. Like it can be complimentary. But for me, I just know I can't, like I get jittery. I'm like you, Terry. I can't focus. I'm like, this is not for me. I cannot deal. But matcha was just like a clean, sustained energy. It does come down to the quality. Like we don't have like super high quality matcha in Bermuda, but it's better than, drinking 5 cups of coffee.
I am here for it. I'm definitely going to make this switch. And as we wrap up, Sue, I do want to bring in this last question from Shanta. Good morning, Shanta. She asks, do you do consultations? So as we wrap up, Sue, could you answer that question and then let the audience know how they can engage with you if they want to learn more about your services and possibly purchase from NakedZero online?
Yeah, sure. So yes, we do offer consultations. We're currently booked up until I want to say the middle of November now, but we do home consults. You can contact me either on Instagram or if you're on Instagram at NakedZero Wellness, or you can send me an email, Sue@NakedZero Wellness, and somebody from the team will reach out to you with all of the information. If you want to shop NakedZero, you can go to NakedZeroWellness.com. You'll find my blog and you'll also find the live web shop on there. And we have pretty much new products every other week or so. So if you see something and it's all sold out, then know that it's probably going to be restocked in a week or so. And then all of our deliveries happen within 24 to 48 hours. If you're lucky, you get it same day. So feel free to reach out to me if you have any other questions. I'm pretty active on Instagram and love to engage with people and talk about minimalism, health, and wellness. So feel free to reach out to me there or send me an email.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us, Sue. We really appreciate this conversation.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, Sue. We'll talk soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye. So Jacky and I are going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back to find out your thoughts on today's conversation with Sue. So make sure you do not go anywhere. Jacky and I'll be right back.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jacky Lambert. Now, before we get into our feel-good vibe of the day, we do want to get your thoughts on today's show. So let us know in the comments what you thought about our conversation with Sue. Jack, I feel like I'm going to be a matcha lover for the one and beyond. Like, I feel like Sue just sold me. She sold me. I'm done. I'm giving up coffee for a while.
She's been sold me because she does it every day. She froths. She does it all. Like, I love Sue. Been loved.
I have followed NakedZero for a while as well, and there's a few products that I've been wanting to try that I just haven't tried, and I got it because I didn't know the answer about the delivery question, and so now that she answered that question, I'm like, bet, say less, because that's one thing for me. Like, it's like, okay, if you don't deliver, where's the pickup location? Because y'all know I'm a transferless person, and so I'm like, I gotta make sure it's like. But like I said, I know her neighbors, so I could just pop up to her neighbor's house. Like, y'all can just drop it next door, and I'll be over there at some point. I tend to come over there often. So, audience, let us know what you thought of our conversation with Sue. I'm really excited to redefine what minimalism is to me, because I think that was a key thing that Sue said that I too thought like minimalism was you have nothing in your home and that's it.
No, I mean, I knew it was a lot of intentional stuff. It's just that I'd prefer to have way less to be able to move through my life with less chaos. I'm the type of person that if I have too much going on around me, I can't focus. Like, I get overwhelmed and I'm just like, ugh. So to me, less is more. So I am one of those people, but I also do too much. So I have my winter, I have my summer. But when she said if you wear it, then it's fine. I'm just like, oh, well, I basically wear everything. But everything that I haven't worn this year yet is getting baked up, and
I'm getting some of those things as well.
Get into your house and then you can do it.
She's like, I've decluttered my space and I'm going to clutter Terry's space.
Okay, so it's going from my house to Terry's, and Terry, you can declutter, you can add to, you can subtract from the bag, whichever. But I have some stuff that I'm never going to be able to fit in again. Like, I fit it into it last year, and I can get back to that size. But as I get smaller, I buy
then
more.
You'll buy. Yeah.
And then, I just have to do that because I don't really go many places, and I don't wear anything.
Absolutely. Well, not absolutely, but Jack, are you ready for our feel-good vibe? Because I want to get to this one comment before we do our feel-good vibe of the day. So Carlton Fleming said that Sue is awesome and his apartment is bare. So I guess you're living a minimalist life, Carlton, if that's how you define minimalism. But if it's not, then, Sue has all of the resources that you need. Jacky, I'm ready for a laugh. I'm pretty sure the audience is ready for a laugh. So audience, make sure you drop your emojis or react to this episode on Facebook to let us know what you're thinking of Jacky's feel-good vibe. Let's go, Jack. I'm ready.
What does the nosy pepper do?
What does the nosy pepper do? Sneeze.
Gets all up in your business.
Gets all up in your business like a jalapeno.
Yes, you get it. Okay, what did the bacon say to the tomato?
I'm gonna wrap you. Wrap it up. I don't know.
Let us get together.
Let us get together. That is too cute.
Last one. What
All
did
right.
what did one pencil say to the other pencil?
You're sharp.
You're looking sharp. You gotta say it like a Bermudian. You're looking sharp, girl.
That's what I was thinking. I was definitely thinking about a Bermudian. We hope that today's Feel Good Vibe has you ready to make it a great one. Thank you for watching this episode of Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert, and we trust we'll see you again tomorrow for another Feel Good conversation. We're continuing our college week tips, so make sure if you haven't already participated in our Instagram poll that you head over to Instagram at Good Day Bermuda and participate, because we will be bringing some of this answers into tomorrow's conversation. Until the next episode, peace and have a good day, Bermuda.